Hello. Join me as we go through a read together where I'm going to read to you from my blog and you can accompany me with this time. The topic is called Building a Body That Matches Your Ambition and Life Goals for Longevity. If that's something you might find value in, then you definitely want to stick around to listen to the upcoming chat. So let's head right on over to mygreenbalance.com. I'm going to share my screen with you and jump right in. Alrighty. Building a body that matches your ambition and life goals for longevity. So you have goals, you have ambition. You're building something that matters to you, and that's why you're here. It's personal to you. You believe in something, you have a goal, you set your mind to it. But here's the question. Does your body support the life that you want to build? Or is it that you are quietly holding back? Most people separate success with health. They push hard in their careers and neglect that one system that everything depends on, their body. This video is about aligning the two, success and health together. We have seen time and time again a success path that does not include health eventually has to plateau to focus on health. Your body is the central operating system of your entire success trajectory. You want to think about building a body that can sustain your ambition, not just now, but for the long term. The real problem is that short-term performance versus long-term capacity has a long-term impact. When you don't consider being intentional about this routine, you can push through fatigue for a while. We all know that. We've been tired, we've worked late, you've been up late, and then you've made it to work, and you can push through it for a while, but not very long before your system crashes or your body needs to rest. You can override poor sleep, poor nutrition, and stress temporarily, but you'll see over time, it always creeps up on you. And the impact, once ignored, gets more and more severe and costly down the line. And over time, it shows up as burnout, low energy, declining focus, increased health risks, and further overweight, cardiovascular problems, cancers, all sorts of ailments. And that's the gap. You're operating with ambition, but without the physical capacity to support it long term. So here's a goal. Can you set a goal that, hey, I want longevity with performance? This isn't just about aesthetics. It's about building a body that produces energy consistently, recovers efficiently, handles stress effectively, performs over decades, not just months, weeks, or even years. That is longevity with performance. The real world observation from running a practice, from studies, exploring the research, is available to us in 2026. Let me ground this for you in real experience. Working as a registered nutritionist and qualified personal trainer, I've seen the same patterns repeatedly. I've studied people, not just programs. There is public health awareness and nutrition, and there's also private one-on-one health, small groups, small families, and institutional schools, and so forth. There are certain patterns that people just repeat, whether they repeat the same communication or they repeat the same behavior. There is a pattern, right? And what I see time and time again is there's a group of people who go hard in the gym. They call themselves gym goers and never get the results that they want. In fact, sometimes they even gain more weight, but they will call themselves a gym person. Then there are people who jump into crash diets a few times a year and yo-yo diet and end up losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight on a repeated cycle, never seeming to get anything consistent from that. And these two types of people operate over time, never getting the results they want, but claiming that diets don't work and exercise doesn't give them the results that they want. Okay? Then there are people who rely on motivation instead of routine and structure. Motivation is like brushing your teeth. You require a daily task or input or scheduled time once, twice, 3 times a day. Okay, so these are extreme personality types. I've had people come to me as a trainer and say, Annick, I want to go to the gym and work out and get all the results, but I'm not dieting or eating healthy. I want to eat what I want. And they will say, I don't even want to hear your nutrition advice. I just want to go to the gym. And so I was like, okay, taking notes, taking notes, taking notes. And then on the flip side, I've had people come to me, Annick, I want a diet plan. I need a diet and I don't exercise very much, but I want to just do a diet. Help me lose 10, 20 pounds in this amount of time. And so these two types of people have stepped into my office and to my gym over the last 10 to 12 years. And I'm like, okay, I have a non-negotiable here. You cannot work with me unless you are doing diet and exercise. That is why I studied this combination, because this is the only thing that works. You must have a diet routine and you must have an exercise routine. You're not going to get the long-term results that you want by doing what you want and not trusting the coach that you are investing in to learn from to build these routines. Okay, so you can't go to a nutritionist and say, well, this diet plan is not working, when you know yourself that you go hard in extreme crash diets that are set up for you to fail because you refuse to build a consistent long-term routine. Similarly, if you go to the gym and you use that as an excuse to overeat and eat more carbs and calories and you're stuck in that cycle, you cannot blame your trainer or your nutrition or your gym for not getting you the results that you want because you refuse to get a sustainable long-term diet plan. You must merge the two for it to work. It is simple and it just works that way. You can't be in an extreme. You must have a sustainable routine. In this practice, in this philosophy, I've seen the extremes we're not an extreme practice because we realize that extreme behavior has extreme consequences. And we recommend having a routine that's strict 90% of the time, where you have 10% flexibility. And that is what is sustainable. If one of your goals are that you wish to be mobile in your 90s and save a bunch on avoiding heart transplants and cancers, God granted, you live a good, healthy life with habits. So what became clear is this: isolated effort does not work. Integrated systems works. When we merge a no-excuse combination of structured nutrition, intentional training, repeatable habits, that is when results last. That's when we saw the end of the yo-yo dieting, the end of the stuck, plateaued, unable to lose weight habits. And the reality is, it does come with some emotional stress, because if you are accustomed numbing out with food every time you're uncomfortable or a little hungry, or you're not accustomed to feeling comfortable hearing your stomach rumble a little bit, you might be hungry, you might be emotional, you might shed a tear here and there because of stress. If you're accustomed going to a sugary snack or overeating or overindulging in carbs, when you regulate your diet, there is usually a bit of emotional byproduct in those changes. And that is only because you are weaning off of a numbing pacifier to be able to have a routine. It is a simple growth metric that does come with a little bit of emotional turbulence before that stability. That is the process. If you don't have that uncomfortable emotional pattern in between, I would be shocked if you're going from losing 50 pounds as an emotional eater or a binge eater, or someone who is stuck in a cycle that's not working. And change is never going to be comfortable at first. So these are all very normal human emotions and processes to filter through any habit or behavior change, especially when it comes to grounding down your diet and exercise routine. That comes with having to set boundaries. That comes with having to have uncomfortable conversations. Why? Because if you put everybody else ahead of you and get heart disease and cancer, who's taking you to the hospital? A lot of the time, it's you. If you're on an airplane and there's any turbulence and you need to put on an oxygen mask, you have to put on your mask first before you look at anybody else. And once your mask is on, you can help anybody, but not at the expense of not having your mask on first. When you want a long-term transformation, choosing yourself and your health is not selfish. It's actually necessary. It's necessary for your family, for you to show up properly, for you to take care of your kids better. You can't be lazy with taking care of your health and your fitness and your nutrition. These are priorities. Otherwise, it costs too much long term. So there are 4 pillars of a high performance body. To align your body with your ambition, you want to focus on 4 core systems. Number 1, nutrition, fuel quality. What you eat determines your energy, recovery, long-term health. 2, movement. physical capacity, strength, mobility, cardiovascular health. These define what your body can handle. You can go to the gym and find your 1 rep max. How much weight can my body even push in a chest press? How much weight can my body squat? How many push-ups can I do? How fast can I run in 1 minute? How long can I run in general on a consistent pace? These are some numbers you might want to know. That's a good place to start. What are you physically capable of doing? And then you can say, okay, well, at least I have a starting point. I can set a goal. Can I push more? Can I bench more? Etc., etc. Number 3, recovery. Sleep and stress management. Without recovery, performance declines no matter how driven you are. Recovery is essential. Every quarter, recovery time, or weekends, recovery time. You must schedule your recovery time, because if you are working and overworking your body on overdrive, that is not going to serve anybody in the most polite manner. Number 4, consistency. Results come from what you repeat, not what you do occasionally. There is a system. There's a system for a reason. There is a system worthy of integrating. And these systems are not there for a quick fix. There are quick fix touch-up solutions available for quick events. You know, you need to fit into a really tight dress, something like that. There are quick fix solutions to make those little adjustments. But long term, you want your system to work for you so that it's never drastic when the summer's approaching and you don't have your summer body ready, for example. You always want to be summer body bikini ready. That is the goal of having a system. The non-negotiable principle. Here's the standard I operate at, and what I expect from anyone that I work with. Simple problems require long-term solutions. This is a non-negotiable. Whether the simple problem is on a weekend, you're exhausted, to go out of the house, to go and purchase heavy items like laundry detergent, bottles of water, heavy milk products. You are putting your body through more physical demanding strength. That is exhausting you more to go and stand up in a line, get a bunch of stuff for the house, then do extra chores or get help with the chores. Your weekends are spent doing physical labor. A long-term solution is to call ahead, schedule in 4 times a year or 5, 6 times a year. I want these items on a cycle delivered to my house. I don't want to leave the house. I don't want to do physical labor. And I surely do not want to stand up in lines doing that either with my free time on a weekend when I work so hard. To me, that's just a simple long-term solution to put in place for one simple problem of making sure you have time to recover, you reduce your chances of injuries, burnout, and you're not overexerting your strength. This is a non-negotiable. You cannot outwork a low-quality diet, and you cannot diet your way into long-term strength, mobility, and resilience. This takes work. It takes brain training work. It takes psychological renovation work. It takes neurological reprogramming work. It's taking your brain to the gym. You can do crosswords, you can do puzzling, you can do reading, you can do word games, you can learn 4 new languages if you want, but you have to keep that brain active, especially if you're going to reduce your chances of onset dementia and Alzheimer's, which is on the rise also based on low adherence to exercise routines and healthy diet structure. Both sides have to work together. That is the only structure that works and keeps working. Nutrition for longevity and output. Your diet should support both performance today and health tomorrow. You want to focus on minimally processed foods. Balanced meals with protein, fats, fiber, and portion-controlled snacks, carbs, etc. Get rid of the fried food. It's pure junk and it's clogging up your arteries. Reducing chronic inflammation is a good goal. And that is another level of health that you can reach as you level up. I wouldn't prioritize that now if you're a beginner. You don't need extremes, you need alignment and consistency. As a disclaimer, I am a nutritionist, and this is very public health communications and general notes that I found from my blog. If you're going to make any lifestyle changes, do personally book in one-on-ones with your doctor or nutritionist to get a specific plan. Training for life, not just looks, is a functional process. After you learn the basics of life training skills and functional movement, functional diet, basic minimum of functionality, then you can go into aesthetics, because you may want to evolve your journey into the next level and layer if you've mastered the first layer. But if you have not mastered the fundamentals, you have to master the fundamentals first. But trust that you won't get bored, because there are always more levels to master. But try to master the basics first. And it gets exciting after that. You want to think of strength training, cardiovascular work, keep that heart pumping. You want a healthy heart, you want healthy blood flow. Cool. That's fun. Okay. And mobility. You're building a body that can handle life. Not just look good temporarily. After you handle the fundamentals and the basics, you might even be going into anti-aging. That takes it to another level. So yeah, you don't have to just look good temporarily or for one event or for one Christmas party or one wedding or one holiday travel with your family or Easter vacations or summer vacations or Christmas vacations or going away on a September trip or going on a holiday or keeping up with work and travel. You don't have to just look good temporarily. You want something that works for you long term after you've mastered the fundamentals, of course. High performers often overlook recovery. But sleep and stress management directly impact your energy, your cognitive performance, your hormones. If your recovery is poor, everything else suffers. Build systems. Motivation comes and goes. Systems stay. So if you build a system with motivation, in that routine, whether you listen to an audio or you read something, or you have little notes of motivation, or you have your Pinterest board with your motivations, or you have your coach to motivate you, you have that in doses scheduled on routine, because it's not going to be there forever. In fact, it might never be there. You might have to literally program that into your psyche based on your environment and environmental change. Okay? Consistent routines help a lot. Schedule training, structured meals. Know what meals actually work for you. Where can you buy food that you feel good with? This is how you remove the friction and build something sustainable. The alignment advantage. This is one of my routines where I have my tea, my little teapot. And if you know me, you know I am loving the tea. When your body matches your ambition, everything improves. Your energy, your focus, your resilience, longevity. You're not just working harder, you're operating at a higher level. Your ambition deserves a body that can support it. Not just now, but long term. You want to build strength. You want to build energy. You want to build systems that last. And I'm not talking about physical strength. I'm talking about mental strength. You want to imagine your mind like a mental bicep muscle. You train it, you sculpt it, you make it over. The same way you have goals for a lean body is the same way you can have goals for an emotional system, a limbic system, a musculoskeletal system, a neurological system. There are many systems within your body that you can have a body communication with yourself. Set some goals. You communicate on a body level. You communicate with your family. You communicate with your work. You communicate with your intellect. You have different ways to cultivate all sorts of goals that you might not have thought of. So if you're sitting down bored, playing video games, and you are overweight, a good place to start is by looking at this video. So share this video with a friend that you think might need to hear this message, especially if you care for them. Watching someone in that position become overweight and sedentary, eating junk food, playing video games, it's just sad to watch. So if you have people like that in your life, send them this video and maybe they might spark some sort of motivation. Okay? So you want to build systems that last, because success without health, it's not very sustainable. And if it is, it's very expensive. Unnecessarily, you could be buying boats and yachts. You could be buying so many more things. But if you don't prioritize your health, you're going to have to pay for it later at the cost of something you might have really wanted to do or purchase instead. So if this changed how you think about performance and health, like this video, subscribe, share it with someone building something meaningful and built to last. Drop a comment. What is one system that you are committed to doing this week? Let's build a body. Let's help you build a body that actually keeps up with your life. Right here, sign up with Migraine Balance and never look back. I mean, there are no regrets in this space. Everybody who steps into this space always walks away with becoming better in some way, shape, or form. and you have nothing to lose by putting your health as a priority. Okay, so I'm glad that we got to spend this time together, and it's been absolutely wonderful. This was a really good topic for me. I really enjoyed talking about it because I find that it's nice to address these observations that I've seen over the years and like to put it together and bring that information to you over years of research to think, well, if you've been stuck in a mindset of one of those people mentioned in this video today, are you a gym goer that has been stuck without a diet plan? Are you a crash dieter that refuses to want to exercise? You might be stuck in one of these cycles, and I want you to know that you don't have to be stuck in those cycles if you don't want to, because there are solutions available. So if you do decide to stay stuck in those cycles, that's your choice. Obviously, it's your life, your body, but I will let you know that there are options available that can get you to a better result. If you really do want those results and you've been stuck, you may want to consider taking one of these approaches. And that's about it. I would say from a nutritionist perspective that it's really amazing to see when people do merge these two principles together that have the results. And I've studied a lot of athletes as well, and people who do successfully integrate the routine of a healthy diet and exercise routine together long term. And it is astounding. It's wonderful to watch. It's lovely. And I really enjoy communicating on these principles and wavelengths because I find that it's exciting, and chatting with athletes who love and are passionate about this way of life is cool, and meeting people who are executives that were once really overweight and completely changed their life just to be able to integrate this style is cool. I meet people from around the world regularly. I connect with you on LinkedIn online. I attend some conferences. I really had wonderful experiences in California for the Idea World conferences. I've really enjoyed Vegas for health and wellness conferences, meeting different authors, Palm Beach in conferences, Orlando, Disney conferences. And each time we connect with more authors, people in the space, and doctors, influencers, athletes, wellness tech investors. It's always so exciting because we're all on the same page and we love what we do. We love this community. We love how we feel. We love the results. And once you love the results, you're passionate about wanting people to get results too. However, you can only lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink, right? So that's why this information is available, but it's up to you to make a change. So if there's one thing you take away from today's chat, write it down and let me know in a few months what impact you're making. So until next time.